adult human being think that they were going to accomplish by flying airplanes into the World Trade Center to somehow topple the entire American society to get us off their backs. It was absurd. But the official story of the government said, oh, well, the reason for that is that they had, obviously, this was just planned to be the first of a complete assault on our entire society, that they were going to continue attacking us until every building in America had been demolished. That was what we were supposed to be led into a state of frenzy to believe. And that the only reason that that there were not further attacks was that the American government was so diligent in clamping down security to the whole nation at this moment, as an immediate reaction to this attack, that they were able to thwart all the well-coordinated planned future attacks. They were able to completely thwart and avoid those attacks that would have happened if they had not been the government had not been so diligent. But if that were true, if the government were that fucking diligent, then that diligence would have been in place already, considering, for one thing, that it was only 8 years. It was only 8 years since the attack where a car bomb was placed in the basement of one of those very two Trade Center buildings. In 1993, there was a supposed alleged same sort of insane Muslim plan to bring America to its knees by randomly, for no particularly well thought out reason, targeting the World Trade Center with a bomb that was planted in the basement, but managed not to do enough damage to shut down that building. 8 years later, the airplane attacks take place. You would think, if America was so diligent in preventing such attacks, once they were clued in that somebody wanted it, then there would have already been enough security still in place, a mere 8 years after the basement bomb attacks in the World Trade Center. And it made perfect sense to me, remembering a mere 8 years earlier, that attack, the fact that George Bush Jr. was now the president, and that attack in 1993 took place a mere 5 weeks after Clinton's inauguration, taking over from George Bush Sr. It was too much deja vu to be fucking coincidence. That's another fucking reason why my first prime suspect, aside from the other questions of opportunity and means, and motivation and incentive, the fifth question was methodology. The fifth thing in tracing prime suspects is identifying the modus operandus, the method of the crime itself, to identify criminals who have previously established that they carry out similar crimes by the same method. And the eeriness not only of the buildings collapsing straight down on that day, and the irrationality of the explanation that Muslims would somehow see this to their advantage to the point of being worth sacrificing their own lives to accomplish, was the eerie similarity of the fact that that same building had been targeted a mere 8 years earlier with a similar concocted, suspicious sounding story that it was crazy Muslims doing this. So I've rambled on enough, but these are my thoughts, that I do not feel in any way obligated to confine my thoughts and to refrain from all these other forms of speculations that would be natural in any kind of a court trial or criminal investigation. The questions of who did it, because why was it done, what were the motivations, and who would have had such motivations, as well as opportunity, means, opportunity being having the means, the power, and the incentive, as well as the modus operandus. Who else shows this kind of method of committing the precise sort of crime? And the precise sort of crime that was done before was the bomb in the basement of the World Trade Center. That this crime was clearly a repeat crime, a copycat. And when the question of copycat arises, the fact that George Bush Jr. had just been instated in a very suspicious manner as the President of the United States seemed to me very plausible, most likely, most suspicious, that in a copycat manner, the son of Clinton's predecessor would have been motivated and supported by his father in continuing the father's own unfinished hokey business. The end.